Although we didn't really do a whole lot in terms of price over the last 24 hours, we actually had some big things take place. We have trade deals. We have discussions from the crypto czar saying that, quote unquote, July is going to be a big month. We have a lot of things taking place right now that we need to discuss, as well as some stuff that's happening today. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So ADA right now is at about 55.36. Not really doing a whole lot. Pretty small daily candle so far. We're about 11 hours into this so far. And ADA did do what we were talking about potentially happening yesterday. We did get down into the 54-cent range. Understand that there is still the potential to go a little bit lower here. Would actually make a lot of sense because, again, we're still sitting at this point where there is some long leverage liquidations that take place down to about 54 cents, some a little bit lower than that. But look at this huge concentration above here. This is going to be a lot of fun if we do get some sparks in the market. And there is the potential for sparks taking place this morning. I'll get to that more here in just a moment. But what we're also seeing in terms of BTC is kind of a similar compression in terms of price. Once again, basically from 106 up to about 108. If BTC runs one way or the other with volume, we could see some volatility in terms of price, right? Now, what I will say is we are about to get, it looks like, a bearish cross on the daily stochastic RSI that can very much get invalidated with some green today. So far, we're about break even. Most assets are either break even or green, which is, I guess, a good sign for today. And maybe we get a little bit of a spark this morning on our PCE report. So pay attention to that. That is coming out at 7:30 this morning. But what I find interesting is that the market did not react to the news yesterday, and it should have been big. The U.S. and China confirming their trade deal. If you guys remember, this is a big thing that's been giving us fits here in 2025 is tariffs, waiting on these trade deals. The China-U.S. one is a big one that rocked the market several times this year. And now this confirmation from both sides that there's a trade deal in place didn't really move the market. I think that a lot of people may have missed this news or overlooked this news, but guys, this is a big one, because after this, we are going to start seeing a lot of other nations follow. All right. Did come out also yesterday that the EU says it's ready to make a trade deal with the US. India, it sounds like, is pretty close to their trade deal being done with the US as well. So you're going to start seeing a lot of these things start to heat up the market just a little bit, maybe get a little burst of excitement into the space. Now, what I will also say is something that took place yesterday is David Sachs, the crypto czar, said that July will be a big month. Now, obviously, we've talked about, May being a big month and June being a big month and now July being a big month. But this is a big month in terms of clarity. No pun intended there. So we actually have the Genius bill, which is expected to be signed in the House in the month of July, because August, they're actually going to have their recess. So they're going to try to get a lot of things done before they get to that point. But we also have the Clarity Act, which is the crypto market structure bill, which is going to the Senate. So there is a lot of progress being made on the government side, which, again, this crypto embrace and legislation is kind of a big deal, because that might be part of what's holding back the rest of retail. So just pay attention to that. It's possible that we could have some sparks because of this. Now, I did want to mention that there was actually some pushback in terms of the Ripple, was it the Ripple SEC case? The judge actually denied their request to end this case early, which is kind of weird to me, the fact that both sides agree, but the judge is like, and maybe I'll talk about that more in a different video, but maybe that's why we've had a little bit of hesitance over the last 24 hours. But guys, we have some big things that are happening right now in crypto. Again, another day, Bitcoin being bought in a big way by institutional players. I'll have to do the math and see how long of a period that was. It looks like it's probably somewhere around like 13 straight days of accumulation for institutional players. One of the longest periods of buying we have seen since, all the way back in 2024. So that's a pretty big deal, and it's showing that there's a lot of confidence from the large players in the space. Now, again, BTC is still just floating around 107. It's trying to break the top of its trend here. It hasn't done it quite yet. Now, I will say that, looking at the last several times it's tried to do it, we've gotten some rejections and fallen back down. And hopefully that's not what happens here, because it would probably drag alts with it. But again, we're still at this point where there's a lot of conviction from alts. So we'll just have to watch and wait and see what happens. But today, PC report could provide a spark. Maybe again, the market starts reacting once that PCE report is out and we can digest that data. And I will say that a lot of the data has been very consistent. It's been showing that inflation has been kind of stagnating. It hasn't really done a whole lot. We haven't gotten these big surges like the Fed has been talking about. And again, each one of these reports that we get that is good gets us one step closer to interest rate decreases. And like we've talked about in some of the other videos, there are more and more Fed members that are coming out publicly and saying that they're potentially in support of these July rate cuts if the data stays consistent. And I think that, they're running out of reasons to not cut rates. That's a big thing. So not only that, but we obviously talked about the stuff going to Congress here in July. We could potentially be seeing interest rate decreases on top of that. So again, July might in fact be a month where the market decides to fly. Not saying that's going to be the case for sure, but again, we're very much similar to what we saw in 2016, 2017. 2017, we saw some runs in July. So just pay attention to that. Total market cap of crypto doing a great job of sitting right on top of that 20-day moving average. Hasn't really made an extension there yet. Total 3, we need to make a little bit of moves here. We're still sitting below all those moving averages. We're not in a bad spot right now. We're sitting again just above our 200-week moving average in terms of ADA, showing some great support there. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Hopefully we get this spark today, but it seems like there are a lot of things that are going to be taking place this summer that could help provide us just a little bit of fuel and still a little bit of retail confidence. But let me know your thoughts. So have a great day. Show your love below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.